Oh, so much going on, so much to talk about. Let's not waste a second and get straight into it. Want honest reviews, some rants and a few tech talks in a quick clip? I'm sure you do! Hit that subscribe button and turn on notification so you don't miss the next clip. Welcome to Quick Clips. I am Enny Benzonelli, and in this episode I have a lot to talk about as there have been a lot of news in the entertainment industry. Viacom and CBS are merging back. What a shamble, but probably necessary to fight back the Disney monster that's taking over the film and TV industry and ruining most beloved franchises. The merger will combine MTV, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central and the Paramount Film and TV studio with the CBS broadcast network and its all-access streaming services. I hope this is good news for Star Trek fans. Because yes, when they divided the company about a decade ago, they also split the Star Trek rights in half, with Viacom/Paramount taking on the films and home video formats rights, and CBS taking the television rights. Of course, this division has not been healthy for the franchise, creating some, how can I put it, monstrous story in movies and TV shows. But let's hope that reuniting everything under one roof will bring back some good storytelling. I'm not very hopeful right now for the first season of Star Trek Picard, but I hope a second season may be better thanks to this new constellation. By the way, if you want to know more about this, check out Midnight's Edge, a channel with a lot of great explainer videos, and find out more in details about all of this. Talking Star Trek Picard, a couple of weeks ago, some more details have emerged about the upcoming TV show. It's about cross-media. Apparently, to be able to follow the new Picard series, we will need to read 3 comic books and a novel in order to get filled in with the much needed information to be able to watch the show. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all about cross-media. It's a smart way to boost sales and create more content, but it should be treated as cross-media. If you create a new TV show and I have to read comic books and novels to be able to understand what's happening, that's not cross-media. Picard is mainly a TV show, and that should be the caring format. If you need books to be able to explain what's going to happen in the show, then I'm sorry, your writing sucks. We already have to pay subscription to be able to watch those shows, and now we have to add comic books and novels to it. Especially in a country like New Zealand, where book prices are pretty inflated and where the comic books may not even make it over here, it's pretty unfair to make cross-media compulsory in order to follow the story. Hopefully, some good channels on YouTube will make some videos about it, so we'll be able to get the information before the show starts. Do you remember when TV shows and movies were a joy to watch, where storytelling was the epicenter of them? Well, now all of this has been replaced by corporate greed. Money makes the world go around, but makes storytelling suck. With an act of greed, Disney has asked Sony for 25% of the profit on any future Spider-Man movies Marvel Studios works on. Sony and Marvel Studios entered into a partnership to share Spider-Man in 2015, and the deal was simple. Sony paid for any Spider-Man solo film, and received all the profits, while Marvel could give creative inputs and Spider-Man could be part of the MCU. It looks like the deal is going to fall apart and Spider-Man will be going back home to Sony and leaving the MCU. This is when money is slapping the fans in their face who actually bring in the money to this company. This is my advice to those big corporations. It is time for you to come back to Earth. It's time you realize that without people like me and like all the fans out there that pays tickets, subscribe to your services, buys gadgets and toys, you big corporations are nothing. What I suggest fans to do is to avoid opening weekends for the big movies, just by a little bit. If we unite together and show that the power is actually in our hands, then maybe we will see a change. Now, I'll sneak this one in here. Not sure why the mainstream outlets are not really talking about it much. But have you noticed that the Amazon forest has been on fire for the past weeks? The number of fires is already doubled compared to 2018. Most of these fires are part of the new deforestation politics. In a few words, most of it is to create land to farm cattle. It is very important that we, as individuals, do something. I, for example, have reduced consumption of animal-based products and introduced a more plant-based diet. I know you can tell me you love your burgers, and that's fine. But maybe think about eating it only once a week instead of 5 times a week. Replace mass-produced produce with local ones. Look out for alternatives. We have only one planet, and we should care for it. Now let's get to the main story of this episode. Last Friday, 13 Reasons Why Season 3 has been launched on Netflix. To be honest, I've only watched the first episode of this third season. Boring episode. And the season hasn't been able to trap me into the usual binge-watching modus that great shows create. Last year, after watching Season 2, I had written a review, but it never made to the channel. So I want to get back to that and focus on the controversy that the first season brought by glorifying suicide. The topic is hot, especially here in New Zealand, where the suicide rate is very high. There are a lot of young adults choosing to take their own life. The problem of the first season was that at the end of it, it felt like Anna made the right decision by killing herself, and that was her only way to deal with her problems. I don't want to underestimate her problems. They were real, but the showrunner have been irresponsible not showing more what other choices Hannah could have made. I wanted to see more of her trying to reach out to friends and family, or trying to find help in the school system, or just trying to call one of those free numbers, trying to seek help. And yes, it could still have failed and still brought her to take her own life. And it wouldn't be less painful, but at least the show would have shown more of what people can do to ask for help. And I'm sorry, but those on-screen warning messages are not enough. And then came Season 2, which I found even more irresponsible. Yes, the producer and writers unglorified suicide by having Clay angry at Anna in those imaginary conversations with her, where she was asking him to express his feeling by forgiving her or hating her. The part agreed with me, and I thought it might have been a little too late, as most audiences waited for a year to get that closure, but better late than never. But then the show took a big dive in irresponsibility world. What annoyed me and made me angry is the choice of the showrunners to get the trial to go in favor of Bryce. Yeah, the guy that kept on raping in each episode. To make things worse, the writer decided to punish Justin, the guy that had the journey where after being silent, he finally won against his own fears and spoke out. Yes, justice isn't always fair, but this is a show watched by millions. At least give me a mixed result, show me that money can win against fairness, but then when you have a second trial, the bad guy needs to be punished. The message the show put out was, don't worry about speaking out, it's not going to bring you anywhere, because justice is going to fail you. And also the system is going to fail you. And this is utterly wrong and irresponsible. People that have gone through any molestation needs to feel there is a place they are free to speak out. They are safe and that justice will prevail. The show has failed in delivering this message. I know they have a companion show with experts talking about all these topics, but it is not enough, because how many are actually watching those discussions? The last episode of the second season ends with Tyler abused by the baseball team with a broomstick. Again, I understand that controversy will spark discussion, but this is going too far. And yet, I know that this violence brings Tyler to get super angry and wanting revenge. And so he does. He picks up all the weapons he had collected over time and decides to execute a mass shooting at the school ball. And yes, this is a very hot topic, especially in the States. But the problem with it was when Clay finds out what's happening, he tells his friends not to call the police. He tells them he is going to deal with it. No, this is the wrong message. If you know of someone on the verge of committing something this bad, you have to call the police. Don't be a hero when someone loses his or her mind. It is hard to change their mind. What 13 Reasons Why has done is telling a fairy tale. Clay would have been killed on the spot, as Tyler would have been in such a mental state he would have just pulled the trigger. If something like this happens, lock the doors, call the police, hide. Once again, in the first episode of season 3, Clay gets told off by Zach for being responsible like that. What Clay had done could have endangered the whole school. And once again, the right message came too late. 13 Reasons Why has brought hot topics into the conversation, but has done it irresponsibly. If you have children that you know have watched the show, please talk to them and ensure they understand there are other choices rather than the one showcased in the show. Tell them they can talk about anything with you, that they have a safe haven with you. Well, I will review season 3 in a later episode if I'll ever finish watching it, because it looks like probably I won't. Woof! That was an episode. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this episode of Quick Clips. Feel free to like or dislike this video, and feel free to comment and start a conversation, a discussion. Just do it down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and if you want to get stuck in the YouTube infinity loop, keep watching my channel or click on the video suggestion or playlist. Also get in touch on Twitter and Instagram at Enny and Z. Until next time, ciao!